You ever feel your heart break watching a judge laugh in a kid's face, sentencing his brother to life for something he didn't do, only to find out that kid's a legal genius ready to burn the whole corrupt system down? That's what happened when a racist judge mocked a black teen in a courtroom, clueless that the boy's brain held every law book he'd ever read, and his fight would spark a war that cost him everything. By the time the judge was cuffed, the city was in flames, and I was left wondering if justice this hard one is worth the blood it spills, or if some battles leave you too broken to call it a win. My name's Aisha Reed, and this is the story of how a sweltering day in Fairmont, a rundown town outside Birmingham, turned into a reckoning that exposed a crooked empire, shattered a family, and changed me forever. I was in that courtroom, just a reporter scribbling notes for a local blog, when 16-year-old Malik Turner stood there, sweat dripping down his neck, his thrift store suit wrinkled, facing Judge Vernon Crane, a towering man with a buzz cut and a sneer that could curdle milk. Malik's brother, Caleb, 22, had just been sentenced to life without parole for a gas station robbery. He swore he didn't commit, and Crane's laugh, sharp, cruel, echoing off the walls, cut deeper than the gavel's crack. The all-white jury smirked, the bailiff didn't blink, and Malik, skinny and alone, stared at Crane like he was memorizing every inch of his face. I saw fire in that kid's eyes, a quiet rage that said this wasn't over, but nobody else noticed. Not the clerk, not the lazy public defender, not even me, not yet. That laugh, though, it stuck with me like a splinter I couldn't pull because it wasn't just mockery, it was power, the kind that thrives on breaking kids like Malik. He didn't cry, didn't shout, just walked out, clutching a notebook, and I figured he was another casualty of Fairmont's rigged game. Another black teen chewed up by a system built to spit him out. I was wrong. Malik wasn't running. He was reloading, and Crane had no idea the war he'd just started. Malik wasn't your average kid. He lived in a sagging row house with his mom and Caleb, poring over law books in the library while his friends played ball, his photographic memory soaking up statutes like a sponge. Caleb, his big brother, was his hero, always slipping him a few bucks for snacks, teaching him to keep his head up in a town that loved to knock it down. When Caleb got arrested, pinned for a robbery on Elm Street with a gun that wasn't his, Malik knew it was a setup. The cashier's story didn't add up, timestamps were off, and the public defender barely showed up. That night, after Crane's laugh, Malik sat at his kitchen table, a chipped mug of cold coffee beside him, digging through Caleb's case files he'd swiped from the defender's office. He found a photo on Caleb's phone, timestamped 9:32 p.m., showing him at a barber shop 3 miles from the crime scene, laughing with a clipper in hand, while the robbery went down at 9:28. His pulse raced. This was his weapon, his way to crack the case. By dawn, he drafted an appeal, citing ineffective counsel, procedural errors, and that photo, every word precise, typed on a neighbor's borrowed laptop. He pulled on that wrinkled suit, marched to the courthouse, and slid the papers to the clerk, a sour woman named Betty, who sneered, "Boy, you ain't a lawyer. Get out of here." Malik's voice stayed cool. "State law, Section 32, subsection B. I have the right to file." She shoved the papers back, spitting, "We don't take trash from kids." But Malik didn't budge. "Refusing's a violation? Article 9, State Constitution." Her face went red, but a second clerk, a smirking guy named Lyle, tossed the appeal in a bin, chuckling, "Judge'll love this. A black kid playing Perry Mason." Malik's blood boiled, but he walked away, knowing he'd rattled them, knowing Crane would hear about it, and that's when the fight really began. Crane didn't laugh for long. He called an emergency hearing that afternoon, and Malik showed up, notebook in hand, facing a half-full gallery of reporters and Crane's cronies. The judge loomed on the bench, 6 feet 4 inches of granite and hate, his voice dripping venom. "Mr. Turner, you're wasting my time. Explain this nonsense before I lock you up for disrespect." The room snickered, but Malik stepped to the podium, knees shaking. "Your Honor, my brother's trial was a sham. His lawyer didn't challenge lies, and I've got proof he wasn't at the robbery." Crane's lips curled. "You're a scared kid playing lawyer. Sit down." The gallery roared, but Malik flipped open his notebook, pointing to a circled line. "Page 17, Line 42. The prosecution's closing when 8 minutes over. Rule 6.3, State Code. That voids the verdict. He slid the transcript forward, hands trembling but eyes locked on Crane. The judge grabbed it, scowling, and the room went quiet. Every breath held as his face twisted from mockery to fury. Malik pressed. The law says a timed closing invalidates the trial. Grant the retrial. Crane slammed the transcript shut, the crack making Malik flinch. You're a clever rat, aren't you? Fine, retrial granted, but you haven't won. His gavel hit like a gunshot, and I saw Malik exhale, legs wobbling. But as he left, Crane muttered into a phone, "Handle the kid," his snarl promising blood. This wasn't justice, it was a declaration of war, and Malik was in the crosshairs. Crane's retaliation hit fast. Cops jumped Malik that night, tires screeching as a cruiser pinned him on Sycamore Lane, inches from home. 2 officers, a wiry guy named Roy with a scarred eyebrow and a stocky one called Mitch, dragged him to the hood. Roy sneering, "Holt's little lawyer, huh?" They planted a baggie of weed, slamming him down. "Armed and dangerous boy," Malik shouted. "That's not mine, you planted it." But Roy's baton cracked his ribs. Mitch's fist split his lip, and they cuffed him, tossing him into the cruiser. At the precinct, they didn't stop. Roy's knuckles smashed Malik's jaw. Mitch's boot crushed his hand. "Holt says you need a lesson." They locked him in an interrogation room, tossing the baggie. "Possession. Maybe intent to sell. Holt'll bury you." Malik, spitting blood, rasped, "Article 12. I get a call." They laughed but tossed him a phone, and he dialed Ms. Ruby, his neighbor, a tough 50-something with dreadlocks and a heart of steel. "Cops got me. Planted drugs," he gasped. Ruby didn't flinch. "I'm coming." She bailed him out, slapping down cash, glaring at the cops. "You're done." Ruby took him to her shotgun house, patching his cuts, muttering, "Holt's behind this. He's got the city in his pocket." Malik winced. "I won't stop. Caleb needs me." Ruby's eyes softened. "They'll kill you, kid." But handed him a recorder. "Got this from a cop friend. Holt talking payoffs." Malik's heart raced. Holt's voice, cold, listing names, dollars, Caleb's case a line in a ledger. This was dynamite. But as he planned, sirens wailed, and Ruby peered out. "They're here." Gunshots tore through the night, bullets shredding her shack. Holt's hit squad, not cops, but a mob with bats and guns, screaming slurs. Ruby shoved Malik down, taking a bullet to the shoulder, blood blooming. "Run!" she yelled, collapsing. Malik bolted, recorder in hand, a bullet grazing his arm, Ruby's scream haunting him as he fled through alleys, guilt choking him. She'd saved him, and he'd left her to die. Malik hid in a junkyard, crouching behind rusted cars, the recorder his only weapon. He called me Aisha, the reporter, meeting me at the library's back entrance, blood dripping, handing over the tape. "Holt's killing me. Get this out." I didn't hesitate, hacking a police radio, broadcasting Holt's voice citywide. 10 grand per head, black kids priority. Fairmont erupted. Protests flooded streets. Hashtag Free Caleb trending. Millions sharing the tape. Feds circling Holt's court. I got Malik to a hideout, an attic above a dive bar. But a sniper's glint flashed in the window. Holt's crew, hunting. We hit the floor, my laptop glowing with Holt's emails we'd hacked. Payoffs to cops, prison CEOs, a hit list with Caleb's name. We leaked it, a digital bomb, and news screamed, Crane's cabal exposed. The retrial came fast, the courthouse a war zone. Riot cops, tear gas, protesters chanting. Malik, battered, faced Crane, holding hospital records of Caleb's stabbing in prison. "You ordered my brother killed." Crane roared. "A thug got what he deserved." But Malik played the tape, Holt's voice damning, and held up the guard's confession. "You paid Rollins to stab him." The gallery exploded, Crane hurling his gavel, splintering the wall, lunging at Malik. "You little bastard." Guards tackled him, cuffs snapping on live TV. the jury clearing Caleb's name, but victory soured. Outside, a bomb ripped through the courthouse. Holt's final card, killing dozens, blood pooling in the chaos. I pulled Malik to a church basement, learning Caleb was alive, held in a mansion tied to a name in the emails. Roland Carter, Malik's uncle, a billionaire ghost running the cabal. We raced there, Malik slipping through a cellar, finding Caleb chained, bleeding, a torturer's blade wet. Roland stepped from the shadows, smirking. I built this, Holt. The prison's my throne. Malik lunged. You sold us out. But Roland drew a gun. Power's not cheap. Caleb broke free, tackling Roland, taking a bullet to the heart, gasping, "Finish it," as he died. The mansion burned. Malik grabbing a USB of cabal secrets, escaping as flames roared. Roland vanishing in the smoke. Malik stood in the mud, Caleb's body gone. The USB heavy in his hand, Fairmont smoldering. Holt cuffed but grinning on TV, Roland's shadow looming. Protests raged, feds raiding. But the cabal's roots ran deep, and Malik, alone, swore to keep fighting. A lone warrior with nothing left but a vow. I watched from the sidelines, my camera off, knowing he'd sparked a revolution. But at what cost? Darius was free in name, but dead in truth. Lena and Aisha gone. The city a graveyard. Was exposing Holt and Roland worth this blood? Or is the system too broken to fix? Malik's got that USB, but can he take down a titan like Roland? I'm still reporting, watching the flames, but should I dive deeper or let this fire burn out? A kid left a sign in the rubble. Malik fought. Don't stop. That's the win, right? But is it enough? Or is another blade waiting in the dark? What do you think? Was Malik's fight justice, or too costly? Should he keep swinging, or save himself? Ever seen a system crush someone like him? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching, share your stories. Like, subscribe, and let's keep the truth burning against the lies so you don't have to.